you're very smart. I just want to say that you speak very intelligently, eloquent the way you speak, and it definitely is reflected in your rhymes. And what it brings to mind is that every female from Jersey, like Lauren, Queen, Lady Luck, it's all the same. Do you think that's a Jersey style? Like, is vocab our style? Because usually Jersey gets overlooked. You're either attached to Philly or you're attached to New York. Jersey doesn't really stand alone by itself. And even now that I'm thinking, Redman has great vocabulary also. Do you think that's like Jersey style?
Well, I mean, I'm quick to say that I think Jersey, has some of the best lyricists in the game. Um, I've always felt like we took our lyrics more serious. So I think that might have a lot to do with, how we just come across in general, musically, and in interviews and stuff. I've always looked at New York rappers as like show off rappers. The I with Puffy and Biggie and like when they came along, they pretty much glamorized the game, you know. And not to say that there was anything wrong with that, but I felt like New York rappers made New York rap about everything else. Well, not even New York rap, not New York rappers in totality, because I mean prior to that, we had the KRS and people like that. I just felt like once the once Puffy emerged into the scene, like it pretty much moved the tone of hip hop to a more braggadocious as far as like the fashion world. He introduced the fashion and everything into the mix, and I felt like at that point, success in hip hop started becoming dictated by everything but your actual lyricism, and then you got us over here like, oh wait a minute, did you hear the bars I just spit? Like, what the hell is going on? I mean, I can actually remember a time where I think someone from Atlanta, an A&R from Atlantic, had said that yeah, we said to my manager, yeah, we signed Rah Digga if she could if she can rhyme better than Little Kim, and it was like, huh, what? Excuse me, hello.
What do you listen to?
Me personally, like I thought that whole, I ain't gonna say I thought the whole movement was whack, but I just felt like that wasn't representative of the female rappers that I grew up, loving. So, I mean, it's just interesting to see how music has evolved. But I've always felt like New Jerseyans, like I think there's like a subliminal competition with everyone against like New York rappers. So I feel like we just go the extra mile when it comes to the bars. Like we just want to be known for that.
Yeah, it's definitely a distinctive style here in Jersey, but I don't think anybody ever points that out. So I just wanted to get your opinion on it. But getting on like that whole facade, I would say, with the Lil' Kim era, not to pinpoint her, but she did start it. Women now, it's a whole nother level in 2013. And women have taken on, we'll just call it fake assets, but don't realize that it's more of a liability. How do you feel about breast implants and booty implants and to enhance this this career of female rappers?
To me it's crazy only because a lot of the female rappers now are kind of like basing their success on their bodies, and it's like, okay, but if you plan on doing this for the long haul, just be conscious of what's going to be happening when you're 30 and 40. When you're 40, and and you start showing age and stuff, like how long are you going to be able to keep up that sex symbol image? And that's that's how I felt. That's how I felt back back then. I was like, okay, it's cool that you look like that when you're 22, but you're gonna grow old at some point, and I don't know. Because I knew that I was gonna rap forever. I guess like none of that. I never thought about oh God, how I look at 20, how I look at 30, how I look at 40, because it's always been about the rap for me. Like I never felt pressure to do any of that stuff. But I look at some of the other girls now, and it's like, okay, if that's what you're basing your success on, how long is that gonna work? Like eventually you're gonna get old, and it's not going. It's gonna start not looking right.
Right.
So, good luck with that.
So what would be your theory? How could a woman disassociate herself with that stereotype and still try to be relevant? Like if a chick was coming off, fresh out the gate, and they're like, look, we like you, but we might want you to get some breast implants or some butt implants. How could she counteract, them requesting that from her, but still, showing some type of relevancy and maybe even creating a new wave? Do you have like a theory on that?
I mean, I think just being yourself and honing your craft would do that for you. Because there's plenty of girls that don't do that. For whatever reason, the pop culture likes to censor on the ones that do. But take Azalea Banks for example. Like she is everything opposite. She's like a slender chick. She's not running around with implants. She's dark skinned. She's like. She doesn't represent that in any way, and she's doing the damn thing. I think she just found a nice musical niche for herself, and she ran with it. And you just have to be like a strong enough artist in your spot. I mean, there's females that are beating up the blogs on a regular basis. Knife Wonders artist, Rhapsody, Nitty Scott, Jean Grey has always has managed to create a legacy for herself, and and myself included. Like we didn't have none of us did that. I just think that when you when you dress yourself up to emulate whatever pop culture is telling you is beautiful, then naturally, you're going to be more successful statistically. I just, I'm just one of those like teen rebel folks that I like to do the opposite of what everyone is saying is cool. And I think when you assume that role and really adapt that lifestyle, you kind of become, you become an icon in your own right. It's like, okay, well, here's somebody that did everything opposite of what the protocol was, and ultimately it's going to come down to your talent. Like whatever is carrying you through your career, in that 23rd hour, it's really going to come down to your talent. And if you're a person that was serious about that from the beginning, then you'll be fine, and you'll have longevity. They say 24 hours of the day, the first hour and the last hour is about your talent. So what you do in the rest of that 22 hours is going to determine, if you become a fading memory or someone to be remembered.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Are you entertained, Digga? Are you entertained with, the industry right now?
Honestly, no, I'm not. I mean, there are a lot of dope new artists. Like I'm not one of those like hip hop is dead now. Like I don't think that at all. I just think the mainstream has moved away from the more talented folk to the more, I guess, pop folk, or what could there's always been the Vanilla Ices and the MC Hammers, like that's never diminish. Like there's you can always come out and be like a poppy rapper, or make music that the rest of the world thinks is cool and appropriate, and be successful. I'm actually, let me not use the word successful, because success can be defined a number of ways. So I should say more popular person. But I think at that point there was just a clear understanding of what hip hop, is intended to do, and ultimately it was created to inform and enrich our inner city youth. Like that was originally the goal for hip hop. So there's always been those artists versus the ones that just quote unquote sell out commercially and things like that. I just feel like now those artists are the artists that are considered hip hop, and everyone else is underground.
I mean, that's my question too. Like, with underground music and mainstream music, is there it seemed like it's segregated, because before it was your gateway in. If you wasn't popping underground, if folks wasn't feeling you under the radar, then you didn't make it above the radar. But now it's
right.
It's like segregated, like you're either underground or you're mainstream. What's that about?
Right. I just, again, I think it really just comes down to now that hip hop is so, I guess, incorporated now, or it's such a corporate thing. Like before, it was just viewed as this good pastime. But I think now that so many white kids and white people are influenced by hip hop, that the higher powers had to step in and say, okay, this is what we're going to call acceptable hip hop. This is what we're going to call, underground. And I feel like if you're an artist that isn't trying to, conform to the mainstream part of it, it doesn't necessarily, I don't think it necessarily hurts you. I just think that the only unfortunate that I see is that there aren't enough people that are aware of the good artists, that are out there. Like I hear so many people, I hate hip rap now, and where is everyone? And I can't stand to listen to the radio anymore, and stuff like that. And it's like I say to these people, you don't have to listen to the radio for, all you have to do is just, find your favorite artist. Like, oh, where's such and such Digga? We need you back in the game. Like, well, I put music out on the blog quite frequently. I think if you really have a favorite like that, you kind of just got to go on the internet and see what they're up to, instead of assuming that everyone's just gone and you're forced to listen to this. Like, the rest of us are still putting out music on the internet and doing shows, and the people that are getting it, that they're turning up at the shows. You got artists who doing sellout concerts that you never, that you never hear on the radio, that you'll probably never hear. So it's not to say that they're any less successful. They're just not, their life is just about the art. They don't have a bunch of other sidebar personal life stuff going on. So unfortunately, you're not seeing them all over the tabloids like that. But they're out there. You just got to find them. Just got to dig a little.
It's funny you should say that, because before our interview here today, I went online and I asked all the female rappers I knew, is there a question you want to ask Rah Digga? And somebody had put on there, I want to know why she's been on such a long hiatus. And I had to fill up my Facebook comment with a whole bunch of stuff that you just done. That is not a relevant question. Where have you been?
Right.
It's my question.
I've been actively putting out music since I took a brief hiatus between 2006 and 2009. I didn't actively put out anything, but I was featured on other people's stuff. And I say between Party and Bull and the Touch It remix, I was doing a lot of mixtaping. I was putting out mixtape once every 3-4 months or something. And I think since I'm gonna say about 2009 when I reunited with Knots and started gearing up to the album that dropped in 2010, Classic. Like I've been going, pretty fluidly. I think there's a lot of people that don't even know I dropped the album in 2010, but that's because I wasn't on a major label, and I didn't really have a machine backing me like that. That was really like my first romp in the independent world, and there was a lot of lessons learned. It was like, oh, people ain't just gonna roll out the red carpet for my talent alone. If I don't have the perks of a label behind me, like certain folks ain't gonna rock with you, and that's something that I had to learn with that album. Like there was just things that I was expecting to happen because I felt like I paid my dues and I was a well-respected enough artist. There were certain things that I thought were just gonna naturally happen, but that was like a real life lesson. And like, no, this is a business. This is not, people don't care if you're dope.
I mean, they don't care if they don't see you. If it's not in your face every 2 minutes, I think that's what the rhythm is now. Some people start liking stuff that they didn't even like when they first heard it, but because you hear it every 2 minutes, it just becomes part of you.
Right. I think now, I guess what bothers me the most about now, and I'm not against anybody's personal taste in music or things like that. I just feel like people have been listening to garbage for so long that they don't even know what's dope. Like when I come to when I make appearances, I'll go to somebody's internet radio station. Chances are the DJ's 22. And I say put on a break beat so I can spit a freestyle. They don't even know what a break beat is. Like they're throwing on some Mike Will beat or something. And it's like, no, they don't get it. Like they're not, like they have no idea what that sounds like. They have no idea what females that, were inspired by MC Light sound like. Like all they know is funny voices and theatrics. Like they don't know like just serious hardcore grit spitting, and it's not their fault. They grew up listening to what they grew up listening to, but I just feel like that is the sound now. And okay, I could get past that, but what I can't get past is no one in any capacity feels any obligation to say anything positive. It's like, come on. Like, is everything going to be Ratchet Molly turn up? Like, even with the artists that I grew up listening to, it was like, okay, you had this shit popping. I'm going to whoop your ass. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Yeah, some folks shot some folks, and, that's part of the business. But you still got a song like Black Cop. You still had every now and then they would still come together and do a self-destruction. It's like there's just so many facades and like smoke and mirrors being perpetuated. And I'm even mad at like a lot of the radio personalities, because it's like they fuel this stuff. It's like, okay, you're saying all this on the radio because this is your job, but when you get in your car, you're not bumping that shit. You know what I mean? It's like, come on. But I don't understand why it seems like no celebrity really like feels a moral obligation. I'm saying celebrity. I'm not saying artist. I'm saying celebrity. Mm-hmm. I just feel like there's no celebrity that's willing to, feel like they have a moral obligation to kind of deter some of the shit that's going on.
You have a point, because there was plenty of opportunity. We had the Trayvon Martin, we had Martin Luther King's anniversary. President Obama got in the office. They had plenty of opportunities to do it.
Yeah, right, exactly. my president's black, my Lambo's blue. Okay, I guess. I don't, I guess, throw the Lamborghini up in there with celebrating the president. Sure, why not? I mean, I just feel like there's no individuality anymore. Like, for one, everything sounds the same. Like, the entire music industry is produced by one person, so everybody's record sounds the same. It just went from hip hop informing the youth and really being that positive influence in a kid's life to being the one to influence them to do bad. I never thought I'd see the day where I don't want my kids listening to rap music. Like, I never felt that way. Like, I never played the clean versions around her. I never, like, this is what's going on. You need to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. It just, but now it's like, no, you don't even need to hear this. There's nothing, there's no, like, I don't know, moral of the story in this record. This is just like, hey, I'm rich, you're not. You want to be rich like me? You better rap, you better strip, you better. It's like, I don't know. There's no like, Pop Molly, yeah. Like, nobody's ever gonna say that. Nobody's ever gonna remind the kids like, well, John Forte just did a lot of years behind the opiate-related drug substance. That ain't, it ain't like getting caught with a bag of weed. Like, y'all just got kids thinking it's okay to